Ever thinks about that day? Whether mom still hosts dinner parties and says, "I have 2 daughters," with a practiced smile. I wonder if dad still calls himself a man of principle. But most days I don't wonder at all. What occupies my thoughts instead are the projects that line our research calendar for the coming years. The drought-resistant wheat variant that's showing promising results in our test fields. The solar-powered irrigation system we've been perfecting for small-scale farmers. The soil remediation technique that could transform depleted farmland within a single growing season. We've just secured a $25 million grant from the National Science Foundation to expand our research into climate-adaptive agriculture. It's the largest grant in our center's history, and I found myself wishing I could call Grandpa, hear his voice crack with pride when I told him. Instead, I walked the path behind the old ranch house, sat on the wooden bench he built decades ago, and watched the sunset paint the sky in shades of amber and gold. Sometimes I still talk to him there, update him on our progress, share the small victories and frustrating setbacks. Last night, Grandma joined me on that bench. At 87, she moves more slowly now, but her mind remains sharp as ever. We sat in comfortable silence for a while, then she reached into her cardigan pocket and handed me a small velvet pouch. "I should have given this to you years ago," she said, "but somehow it never felt like the right time." Inside was Grandpa's pocket watch, the one he carried every day of his adult life. The silver case was worn smooth from decades of handling, the initials WD engraved on the back nearly faded away. When I opened it, I found something unexpected, a tiny photograph carefully cut to fit inside the lid. It was a picture of me at my first science fair, beaming next to my display on Honeybee Communication. "He carried you with him," Grandma said simply. "Every day." I've placed the watch on my desk at the center, where the morning sun catches it just right, sending little circles of light dancing across my research notes. It reminds me that legacy isn't measured in dollars or accolades, but in the quiet certainty that someone believed in you enough to invest in your potential. Our latest research project focuses on something Grandpa always talked about, finding ways to help small family farms survive in an increasingly corporatized agricultural landscape. We've developed a cooperative model that allows independent farmers to share resources, knowledge, and market access without sacrificing their autonomy. The pilot program launched in 3 counties last year, and already we're seeing families who are on the verge of selling their land finding new paths to sustainability. When I walk through those farms now, watching children help their parents implement our irrigation systems or test soil samples using our simplified field kits, I see the future unfolding in real time. I see families staying together, communities remaining intact, knowledge passing from one generation to the next, not despite change, but because of it. Yesterday, I was rearranging one of the old bookcases in the lab's library, something I hadn't touched in years. Tucked inside a battered copy of The Nature of Things, I found a photograph. I knew the moment I saw the faded edges. It was me, maybe 8 years old, crouched in the grass behind the barn, holding a magnifying glass up to a beetle on a leaf. Grandpa stood beside me, pointing to something in the distance. We were both smiling. On the back of the photo in his careful, deliberate handwriting, he had written, "My little scientist will change the world someday." I sat there for a long time, holding it like something sacred, because now I know he was right.